local stuff.
This is WeatherScope.
The long holiday weekend is over as most of us brace for the Monday morning commute, and it's going to be especially rough in parts of the Northeast and New England. Hello, I'm Dan Atkinson.
And I'm Paul Emick. You've also kind of a wet Sunday for parts of California and Florida, but we're going to start with a look at ahead at what promised to be kind of a messy commute across so many parts of the country. Yeah, we're going to see some wet weather in parts of the West. Dan's going to talk in greater detail about that, but the Northeast and the Southeast are still a little bit wet. Let's look at, first of all, the focus, which is all the action. Now, we'll talk more about the changes that lie ahead when we get to the action here. When these things start to get together, areas of low pressure getting together, converging it's called. They'll kind of pull together, will bring the cold air in and the moisture along. Now, some of this falling in the form of snow. Parts of upstate, even closer to around Rochester at times, a little flake coming down, a little bit of snowfall. Toward Albany and even toward Utica, we're dealing with primarily a rain event. That's the happening for the night. As the cold air settles in and the moisture rides along, we'll start to change some other places over to snow, other parts of upstate, and even around Boston. We'd be surprised to see some accumulating snow. We'll talk about that on the way. Here's the action with some of the snowfall tonight. You can see across parts of Maine, Bangor, also to Portland. Heavy snowfall at times. Montpelier, Vermont, also into Burlington, even Lebanon, New Hampshire, with some flakes from time to time. Buffalo reporting some light snow. Has been decreasing as of late, though, but a little bit of snowfall can still be expected. Maybe you're heading to the airport early in the morning, heading out of town for a while. Boston, okay, Boston might eventually see a change over to snow. It looks like around commute time, it's probably going to be a rain event. Looks like mostly rain, but midday onward could see a change over to snow around Boston. Even Worcester might even pick up just a little bit of it. So if you're coming from the Cape, coming in there, you might encounter just a bit in the way of some additional wet weather. Hartford and Providence might also see a brief change over to snow, but again, Boston around commute time, it looks like rain. Jumping a little bit further south, Philadelphia, some spotty precip, White Plains, and toward West Hampton and kind of moving out of the city. The city drying out, maybe a stray flake, maybe the Poconos could stay wet, but that's going to be just about it. There you see a kind of a big look at some of the moisture. Temperatures cooling off a bit too. 30 to Burlington, 32 at Rochester, 42 to Boston, and fairly warm 46 in the city tonight. Across the southeast, some storminess. We've seen a very steady flow of moisture continuing to kick across the southern tip of Florida, still bringing some showers around Miami and Key West, even Key Largo at the present time. Some showers coming through there. Other parts of the southeast enduring a few rumbles of thunder include parts of Tennessee, around Chattanooga, also around Knoxville, some wet weather throughout the night. Let's have a look at the action in the west. With that, here's Dan.
And thanks, Paul. Parts of normally sunny Southern California are trying to dry out. Too much rain in too short amount of time turned streets into rivers in Newport Beach, California on Sunday. This area is just south of Los Angeles. A heavy downpour brought a half an inch of rain, causing some localized street flooding. Cars were slowing down and pedestrians were doing their best to get through high water. And the rain is a result of a low-pressure area which has come ashore from the Pacific. It's a swirling area of mostly light rain. You've had light rain from time to time during the past hours at Sandberg and Carlsbad, as well as Burbank and Van Nuys. Low-pressure area producing not only the rain in the lower elevations, but some snow in the higher elevations, the mountains of Los Angeles County, Ventura County, as well as San Bernardino and Riverside counties. Most of the western portion of the country is dry, though we have had a little bit of light snow falling around Butte, Montana, and light snow from time to time at Stampede Pass. High pressure, the basic ingredient in the west, except for that low, that storm coming into Southern California, which is making for rather windy conditions along the California coast. A heavy surf advisory continues in effect now, as you see, and also gale warnings posted for the Central California coast. A look at radar shows the patches of light rain, and they're swirling around the upper level low, which will be tracking on across Southern California, pushing the precipitation into Arizona in the next 12 to 24 hours. Right now, Phoenix 55, Los Angeles 52, in Denver you're colder at 31, Lander 25, and Seattle 46 degrees. Temperatures in the Midwest, 37 now in Chicago, Minneapolis, St. Paul 34. Incidentally, you don't have the widespread dense fog across the upper Mississippi Valley that you've dealt with in recent nights. We do have a little bit of fog reported in north central North Dakota, but otherwise generally dry air coming in. There's a little bit of lake effect snow occurring now, the UP of Michigan and also around Traverse City, Hancock, and Marquette, picking up some snow as the cold winds come in from the northeast across the relatively warm waters of Lake Superior. And you can see across the radar satellite composite here a low layer of clouds covering much of the upper Mississippi Valley, and the clouds fairly thick over the northern plains as a disturbance moves on eastward. And now Paul looks back at El Nino.
That's right. Today marks the official end of the 97 hurricane season. In this special El Nino Focus report, we take a look back at the season and the possible effects of El Nino. Here's Jim Cantore.
This is a special edition of El Nino Focus.
Thankfully, scenes like these were rare in the Atlantic tropical sector in 1997. The season was not as active as the previous two. The first storm to threaten the U.S. developed from a non-tropical weather system. On July 14th, it was a complex of thunderstorms just off the Louisiana coast. By the 17th, it became better organized and was upgraded to a tropical storm named Danny. Strengthening continued, and Danny became a hurricane, making its first landfall near Empire, Louisiana, Friday morning.
We check out a radar out of the region to show you the wet weather and really the fact that